obviously I was doing like a bunch of research on you guys.
Yeah.
You know, I could regurgitate that, Andy, you've got your Andy Arts film, Andy Arts photography, you've got your painting as well, and then I know we were kind of just chatting there about doing a bunch of ice climbing, and then I know you're a politician. You got your Canmore councillor.
I am a councillor for the town of Canmore these days. I own a spa.
Yeah,
yep.
And you've got like I think if I'm right, and tell me if I'm right, obviously, it looked like you had like a coaching thing online, a leadership thing online.
Man, you dug that up, eh? Wow.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that like business worldy stuff in quite a long time, but yeah, there was a time where I owned a bunch of real estate and kind of got into public speaking and ended up doing some business coaching and yeah.
I saw that it said real estate wannabe or wannabe real estate or something like that.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's levels to everything and you kind of like, you know, maybe having a couple properties is more than most people, but you don't feel like you're, you know, people that have hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate. And so there's levels to things. And I've kind of felt like I was in the middle of maybe a pack in that. Well, probably not, probably lower half for sure. But sometimes you just got to step into things. And so that was part of me just doing that. And it's kind of how I've done a lot of things in my life.
Yeah. And you were saying you were originally, you're from, sorry to make this. So I obviously do a little bit of research. So I'm not like a crazy stalker, but you obviously, like you lived in northern BC and then you moved to Calgary and then you came here. Is that right?
Yeah. I was born in a little place called Fort St. James, which was the first capital of BC way back when. It was a Hudson's Bay trading post. Town of about 4,000 people and half of it was reserve. And then moved to the big city of Prince George after that and went to university in Calgary and, you know, kind of just never looked back to go back to BC and ended up coming to the Bow Valley for a job with a heli ski company. And kind of like most people, I didn't know how long I'd stay. I had no plans to stay a long time, but it feels like it's been a long time now. Well, actually, you know what?
How long has it been?
Yes, I don't like that question. It feels like
Take it back.
No. People ask all the time, especially because now I'm a politician. They want to tell me how long they've been here because for some reason that matters. They think their opinion matters more the longer they've been here, and I really, I don't believe in that philosophy. But yeah, you know, I've been here a couple decades.
Long enough.
More than a couple decades. And you know, Night of Lives was born in Calgary when I was there. I was learning to climb. I was rehabbing my shoulder and my friends were just starting to, you know, we were going to grassy lakes and starting at like White Imperialist Wall and taking these absolutely terrible photos. And people had, you know, those big old camcorders back in the day and started doing really terrible films, like worse than Andy does today. Like they're that bad.
But they're humorous.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I remember, you know, they were drunken events in my condo. There was probably 20 of us, and somebody was showing a film, and a buddy of mine, Dave Duncan, they were taking the piss out of him, and he just started like, this is all lies. Just the night of lies, and that's where the name came from. It kind of stuck after that. And then I moved to Banff and worked at CMH, and decided that we would do one at my house again, and Barry showed up, and he was pointing out, you know, climbs on the Emperor Face, and we're all, you know, just these nobody climbers at that point in time. Like I was never a somebody climber, but I was a nobody climber back then
compared to Barry. Yeah.
You know, and Barry showed up and he was going through this, he's pointing out these obvious lines on the Emperor Face. And we're all like, we don't know what you're talking about, man. Like that's not obvious to anybody but you here.
And that's Barry Blanchard, you know, that's Canada's most prolific alpinist of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I knew of Barry Blanchard as in I knew who he was. I've lived here 5 years, so I've heard him. But before Friday night, I'd never seen the guy in my life. Mm-hmm. So Barry obviously was doing a presentation, and I had no idea that's who it was. So me and my girlfriend who were there, we came away, and I was like, that old guy's like kind of. I'm surprised he's still like kicking around because I didn't realize that's who. I didn't put the name to the guy. So you know, I just see this presentation of this older gentleman. talking about like a lot of like kind of horrifying injuries, and I was like, this guy seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. And then, you know, like in the last couple of days when I was like, you know, looking online, I was like, oh God, I can't believe I would even think that. But yeah.
When Barry had his last accident, I think he got a plethora of messages about, hey, if you want to stay on this side of the dirt, like, you know, but yeah, his presentation this year was pretty wild. Like, who keeps all of those x-rays from like 1972 about a finger? Like, you know, I haven't got any of that stuff. He's an archive. Like, Barry might be a good climber, but he's an archive of knowledge for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he totally is.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then,
so it kind of started with just you and your mates in Calgary taking videos.
100%. Yeah. You know,
and did you ever think like, I'd like it to be this?
No.
Or was it just purely, we're having fun?
No, not at that point in time for sure. It was just, we were having fun. And then John Olette was working at Mountain Magic, and I was kind of across the street, and we, you know, in Banff, and I walked in there one day and just asked him if he would be willing to host a slideshow night. And he was like, yeah, sure. And so I built this like ridiculous poster, and we put it up there, and I walked in a couple of days later, and he was like, man, people are super stoked on this. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody even knows what we're doing here. And
that was pre-internet, wasn't it?
No, we're not that old, man. Come on. No? No, there was definitely internet. Like, I was a network admin at that point in time for CMH, right? Like, the internet definitely existed. You know, there was definitely no Facebook, and there was no social media.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The social media wasn't there.
Yeah. And we didn't have any like website or nothing like that. It was literally like 10 posters we printed and put them around town.
So what made you want to go between just like you sitting and doing it with your mates, and just to then be like, I want to do this and get other people to come? Like, what do you think had that switch?
Audacity.
Nice.
Blissful ignorance.
But you were aware that it was something cool, and you're like, other people will probably appreciate this.
Yeah, I think so. And I just, like, I couldn't host it at my house anymore. There was no space to have even my mates over to do it. And so I needed something to do it. And I thought it was just going to be my friends showing up again. And I don't know, about a couple weeks went by, and John Olette's like, you know, the tickets are all sold out. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're sold out. And I remember coming up to Mountain Magic the night of the show, and I had a lineup of speakers. We never ever told, and this is something you're going to change or go back to. We never told anybody who was speaking, ever. Yeah. And I very seldom ever looked at the presentations beforehand. So it was really super raw, and I got myself in trouble a couple of times over some presentations that were spicy for sure. But in general, it was just unrehearsed and unedited and unpolished, and it was like the exact opposite of the Banff Mountain Film Festival. And don't get me wrong, I love the Banff Mountain Film Festival, but it was the other end of the spectrum. And so we walked up there that night and got the chairs ready, and then people like a half an hour beforehand, like the place was packed. I'm like, hey John, like, it's really busy in here. He's like, these people are here to watch your show, man. I was like, are you crazy?
And you have to imagine that this isn't a shop, a climbing shop. And there's, I don't know how many people, but it is like sardines.
Oh yeah. So far above fire code.
Yeah. And there's so much gear that's right there that could easily be lifted.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
And it was just like, I couldn't believe that a shop would actually allow something like that happening. And I
don't think they didn't know it was going to be like that either.
Yeah.
Like, they really didn't. We all had no idea what was about to happen.
What shop was it? Is it still
Mountain Magic?
Oh, Mountain Magic.
Is it still there? I don't even know these things anymore.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
Right?
No. I'm in Banff. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on Bear Street, and yeah, I'm sure it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you were saying about being the opposite end of the Banff Film Festival, because I wrote that here. I thought it, and I didn't know actually whether to say this or not, because I didn't know how you would take it, but I thought it seemed like an underground Banff Mountain Film Festival. That's kind of the feel it
very
had
much
to.
So.
You know, it was like a more, it seemed more.
There was actually talk about taking it to the Banff Mountain Film Festival and it being a part of of the festival at some point in time, but it just didn't materialize.
Do you think it's the same vibes, or is Banff is maybe a bit more rowdy than the BMFF?
Oh, it's way
prestige.
Yeah, no.
Or you're too prestige for the Banff Film
Not
Festival?
at all. No, not even close. I think it just, we had a hard time figuring out how to make this rowdy underground thing be rowdy and underground at the Mountain Film Festival still. We didn't know how to merge those two things. And I don't know, maybe that was a mistake, but maybe it wasn't. And
well, if you look at the Banff Mountain Film Festival, there are very few films that are humorous.
Yeah.
No.
It's honestly, that's one of the things that's lacking.
It's very serious there.
It's a very serious, festival. And then with the Night of Lies, it's a total opposite. It's like we try. Well, I'm going to speak for myself here because I've only been running it twice. I try not to have serious films in there. But at the same time, Wade also said something to me, when I started doing it. And he's like, just let the people do what they want to do and then show whatever they have. And so, that's kind of what I did. And it's been changing
for sure
for quite a long time.
I was going to ask you, how do you choose the people and the content? Are you just like inundated?
Beg.
Oh, do you really?
I beg. I call people. I'm like, come on, you got to do this. It's a challenge.
It's the hardest part.
Yeah. For instance, what I'm noticing now, it's only the older generation that wants to go up there and do a slideshow and to be funny or whatever they want to talk about, but to talk to the people with a slideshow. Where the younger generation, they want to do films because that's their go-to thing. And this year, I noticed that the majority of the crowd was anywhere between 25 and 35. Where in the past, it's been older. And now that's changing. And so the thing that I'm doing now is I'm trying to stay current.
It's a mistake.
And the great thing about this is that I have friends who are 30 years old. I'm 60, but they're my friends. And so I try and stay current because they say stuff to me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I think that's a direction that I'm taking the Night of Lies, is to try and stay current. And which way right now, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to go about it. But, Nikki, she won 5 times, I think, the Night of Lies altogether.
Many times?
Yeah.
A solid 3 for
Nikki
sure.
Tate is just hilarious. She was one of the MCs.
Yeah. Her and Bex.
Yeah. And, and Bex and I have been, we did the climbing festival for 5 years. So we've been partners doing that. And then this year I decided that I don't want the stress anymore.
You don't actually have a heart thing or whatever that you said.
Oh, I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's not that bad.
But it's not because of that.
Okay, right, sorry. Because it was when we were there, so we were obviously in the crowd and it was kind of funny. Everyone's, it just began, so everyone's kind of mumbling and chanting. And then the more you were going on about this heart thing, you could distinctly hear it all getting super quiet. And then it was
totally
dead
heard that.
silent.
I couldn't believe it. When I was talking, I was just like in the background, I'm like, everyone's quiet.
Yeah.
They're really paying attention to me. I'm like, shit, was this a smart move or,
Yeah. And so you obviously after that, you were like, does anyone from the crowd want to come up and MC? Had you plugged it so that Nikki was going to come up anyway, or were you actually hoping that someone would stand up and then?
Truth be told, no, it was set.
Okay, right. Because I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if someone had said, yeah. I was like, I guess, would you have just ran with it and be like, right, okay, cool? Or you'd be like, maybe sit down.
Yeah, no, we've been thinking about it for quite a while, how to plan my exit. Bex and I thought about having an argument and stuff like that, and
the heart attack was certainly more attention grabbing from a spectator.
Yeah, well, there is truth. I've had 2 stents put in,
Okay, right,
but it wasn't the reason.
Yeah.
I just decided for myself, I'm never comfortable up there.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable doing this. And then, everyone's looking at you and stuff like that. And also being the organizer, there is so much going on behind the scenes that you have to make sure that everything's, running smoothly and stuff like that. That often Bex would be like, okay, so we got this person, this person, this person. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? And I'd be like, you know what? We'll wing it, And so I didn't do much research. Mind you, I knew most of the people. So, it was kind of nice being able to pull away this time and watching Nikki and Bex take over it. And they're fantastic. They prepared,
Yeah, I kind of said this already, but the way that they were just able to do the off the cuff stuff and just roll with it, that's so not in my wheelhouse. Like, I'm the same as you. Like, this is like my thing. Like, I was just a couple of guys just sitting down, because I was sitting there, obviously influenced from doing this. I do sit at events like that, and I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. And I was like, I don't think I could do that. Like, in a room of however many people, people are shouting, people are like having fun. I don't know if I have that like quick-witted stuff that Bex and Nikki evidently do. They were really, really good.
I think it really gets to why it's hard to find speakers for it. It's not serious. It's impromptu, but you're in front of a whole bunch of people that you probably know, right? And you're on stage and they're looking at you, and maybe somebody says something witty, and it's hard to respond to those things sometimes. So I get like the intimidation factor. Like it's funny because Night of Lies should be in my mind one of the least intimidating places ever to go speak, right?
Yeah.
It's just a fun drunken night where nobody gives a shit about the quality of what you are doing up there other than just entertaining them. And that was always my role with presenters. Entertain the crowd, right? But that's a hard thing, and there are lots of people that over the years that I've asked that I would really love to see on that stage.
Oh, yeah.
That refuse,
Just not their thing.
It's not their thing. It's hard. It's an intimidating place sometimes. There are personalities that really handle that environment well. And when you do, it's so much fun. But I fully understand why it's really hard for some people to get up in front of their peers and entertain them for 10 minutes. And, back to Andy's point about it not being serious and trying to be funny, when I was looking at it, we did the kind of the full spectrum, right? Like there was a couple of memorial shows, tribute shows that were super impactful, that had, crowd and tears kind of thing. And I'll never forget those. And I think that those were super important for the community to kind of to have that moment for those people. And, to see the money going to Mountain Muskox, and Mountain Muskox, for those who don't know, is an organization that was built around trauma or because of trauma in the mountains. And, the reason I don't climb much anymore is because I got tired of losing friends, right? Like that shit gets old after a while. And everybody deals with it differently. So to see Mountain Muskox be born and facilitated and funded and have support that we didn't have back then, right? Like, somebody fell off a mountain and was just like, well, shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
And so I really think that, the money going to that organization is a great cause. So
yeah, no, it was Sarah Hunican started Mount Muskox, and
with Barry as well, right?
With Barry as well, yeah. But I think it was Sarah's brainchild,
for sure.
But I could be wrong on that. But yeah, this year we got $3,600.
Wow.
Yeah, from the silent auction. Yeah. And that's from all dirt bags being so cheap, because that's one of the hardest things is people just don't want to spend money, and climbers are even cheaper than what people want to spend.
But I also think climbers and adventurers that's a tight-knit community.
It is,
right? And and don't kid yourself, there's people in that room that live in their vans and have big bank accounts.
Oh, yes.
Like, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
So, they're also generous, and they're also, they want to support those sorts of things. So, good on you for raising that money.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, the support is also the different companies that have given us, there's so many that have just helped us out, and they never ask for anything back, right? They're just like, yeah, this is a great cause. We'd love to help out, stuff like that. And individuals too. Ian Wellstead offered guiding service, and we just on that alone was $600 last year.
Wow.
And then
that's probably not far off what you would actually just pay for a guide for a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I think he's a bit more expensive, but so it's amazing how people just give. And this is not for me. It's not a business. No, it's how can I give back to the community? Because The Night of Lies is actually how I started my film career.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Wow.
It is. It is.
It wasn't the one you did where you were in the Gripped magazine. I watched that one where you ran out to your PO box.
Yes, that was the very original called Belair to the Stars. Yeah, and
you won that year, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's quite cool. It's actually, this is a funny story because I had this idea. I've been fortunate enough to climb with some of the world's best climbers. I am nowhere near that. They're just friends of mine, and I've been able to tag along as a second, and I have learned so much from them, what not to do and what to do and stuff like that. And one day I opened up this magazine, Grip magazine. There was a picture of Will Gadd in there and me. And it said, Will Gadd on the real big drip. I was like, what about me? And I'm just like, seriously? Fuck this, and I came up with this idea that I wanted to make a film about me belaying all these famous people and mocking them, but I had no clue how to do it. And then a friend of mine said, John Coe, he's like, hey, I love this idea. And he knew all about film and stuff like that. He goes, take your camera, go out and film. And then I'll put it together and edit it. And I'm like, what do you mean by editing? And that's how new I was to this. So I did that. And there were times where people's heads were cut off, because I thought in the viewfinder there was a square box, but I was wrong about where it was and stuff like that. And we put it together, and it was just an interesting content story. And it won the Night of Lies. And I thought, man, I want to keep doing this, And so I sent it to the Bantam Film Festival.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I got denied. And so I was like, okay, well, can you tell me why? And they were nice about this, but they said, well, if you refilm about 95% of it and resubmit it, well, maybe we might accept it. So I actually did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, but then I still got denied. So. But.
And did you guys know each other at this point in time? Or were you running this and you were kind of like slowly getting in?
I don't know how we met.
Involved.
We've known each other quite a long time.
I don't even know you.
Who are you?
Yeah, I don't know when we met.
No clue.
I think it definitely our friendship grew after that, right? Like, I think I told you that the thing that you had done that night was special. That was one of the special ones. I can look back over the 20 years of it happening, and I don't, like Andy was saying, I think earlier, that whole night is a blur 90% of the time for the person organizing and the person emceeing. But I remember some key ones, and that is definitely one of them from the years of doing it.
And that's what I want to strive to keep. Not to sound egotistic, just because it was my film that won, but it is unpolished.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that, I think that needs to stay for the Night of Lies to continue giving what people want.
Like you say unpolished, and I agree with you, but it was unpolished but so smooth. Like, everything was so different, and but from a spectator, I guess, point of view, while I appreciate the unpolishedness of it, it was smooth. Like, it didn't feel like it was unorganized, I guess.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos, yeah, exactly. That's kind of...
Ian Wellstead.
Yeah.
That's what he sent me a text last year for the Night of Lies. And he goes, you and Bex were organized chaos. And I thought, yeah,
perfect.
Okay,
that was one of the feedback I gave Andy this year too, is that, AV in the past is a bit of a challenge for us. And this year it was dialed and smooth. There was a smoothness to it, but it still had that, for most part, unrehearsed feel. And it is organized chaos. It is like, just see how it goes sometimes. And I think that authenticity is part of its charm, right? Like, that's, people want real. They don't want, the 1,500 takes it took to get that shot, to get a beautiful sunrise over Yosemite with, whoever climbing this beautiful line. I think that has a place, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't in Night of Lies.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, the film that I put in this year, I shot it on my iPhone. Yes, I have $15,000 cameras and stuff like that. But I was just like, no, we had an idea. We went out and we shot it in 3-4 hours, edited it for a couple hours, and called it good. It's not about being polished at all. Raw is to me the way to go.
Yeah, I also liked how it wasn't, you go to, say, a BAM Film Festival and you watch one movie and then you get a break and then another movie and then a break and then another movie. I thought it was really cool how the first one, Nicky's thing was, it was just, it almost looked like a
Sticky
homemade...
Nicky.
Yeah, Sticky Nicky, homemade movie. And then, the next one was, I mean, I can't remember the exact order, but what I'm getting at is they were all different. It wasn't like a video. It was like video, and then a different style of video, and then Barry was talking, and then the young guy did a video, and then, I kept you engaged, because I was, honestly, I'd asked a friend before going, I was like, so what? I was like, it seems like an adventure, like comedy night, and he's like, it's kind of all those, it's kind of that. But it was very cool, because when Barry came up and was giving a presentation, it almost kind of took me aback. So I was like, oh, I thought this was videos. And then he was chatting. So it was quite cool how you didn't really get bored of anything, because it was constantly...
There's a lot of thought that goes into who goes first, second, third, and so on.
Yeah, for sure.
You try and analyze, how is the audience going to feel at this particular moment in time and stuff like that. What time of the evening it is. Are they getting tired? Do we need to put a funny film or, comic up on stage at this particular time? And so, there's a lot of thought that goes into that. And we had switched it so many times, before who was going first and stuff like that.
If it was up to me, there would never be a film in it. But that was always super hard, right? Yeah. To get people to always give live presentations or, something other than a film, was really hard. So I get why they happen, and we did lots of them over the years. But if I was to curate my perfect show, there wouldn't be a single video.
It's kind of what you were saying about the generations. Like, Barry was the one who's one of the older guys to do it. Full presentation, full chalking, and then the younger guys who were doing the funnier videos. I think one of them came up to the stage to chat, and he was like, "I don't know why I'm up here." And he said, "I didn't need to come up here." So, but to your point though, I wonder if it's like a generational thing. Yeah.
And he won.
I don't know. Storytelling is an art, and it's not an easy thing to do in any medium, right? But I think it's super important that, and it's how, way back when, I think a lot about Indigenous culture these days, and how storytelling was really how history and knowledge and was passed on from generation to generation.
Is it quite cool, that being said, that you're now kind of contributing a bit to, you guys, you originally know yourself, Andy, with the Night of Lies, you've kind of created a kind of modern version of these old storytelling nights.
That's all it was meant to be, was to tell stories. And, I think we used to use the motto of "Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story."
Yeah.
And that was really
Have you ever had someone up there and you're like, I'm 90% sure that what you're saying right now is just bullshit?
Oh God, yeah.
And
so you won't do you watch I know you said you didn't, but like now, do you watch, like when you watch someone's video of that before, or are you still kind of just...
I don't watch them. I run through it.
Okay.
Just to make sure that everything's working.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But no, I don't watch. Well, this year I actually watched 2 of them prior, the whole thing, but for the most part, I don't, because I want to be entertained myself.
True, yeah.
And this year was the first time that I actually felt entertained because I wasn't on stage. So
yeah, the pressure's off you. You can actually sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah, because when you're emceeing, you're not paying attention to the films because there's so much more that you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Double up on that challenge was always a thing for me.
Yeah, because imagine at the beginning you'd be emceeing, like you'd literally be doing everything at one point with other people.
Yeah, to a certain degree. There was the volunteer support was always super strong. I never felt like I was doing it alone, but definitely like the hub of the wheel for sure, with lots of spokes going off on it. So, I think stepping back to not taking all those roles and letting other people, I think it's also it's a space for other people to find their way in the community, right? And Nikki and Bex getting on stage and doing their thing. Andy put a film in a long time ago, and now he's running the show.
Yeah,
right. And I sit in the back and have a couple drinks and go home.
And have you found it hard to kind of let go of something that was, I guess, your idea?
Yes and no.
I guess did you have a conversation before you took over and you're like, hey,
nope.
I'm going to...
Not really, no. Okay, no, I kind of just said, go for it, because if Andy didn't do it, nobody was going, it wasn't going to happen, right? Like nobody else was stepping up.
And I had the climbing festival, 5 shows of that underneath me as an experience, right?
So it definitely takes a special person to kind of pull that evening off. And, I sat there this year and I was absolutely entertained. And I enjoyed myself. And it's different than I would have done it. And that's totally fine. We're sitting in the back, and I remember when I first started climbing, and there was like Kevin Doyle and Barry and that generation, and we were like the 20-something kids, and they would slap us around every once in a while for being assholes, and rightfully so. And now we're sitting in the back, and I feel like the crusty old guy with the kids up front, and oh man, back in my day, we reminisced over it was back in my day, da 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 da.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 32 and I feel like I do that sometimes.
For sure.
Depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old, you're like...
Yeah, I think it's just the way it's natural, right? So, yeah, it's evolved and it's different. There was stages for me. There was the condo with 20 of my buddies. There was Mountain Magic, where it was like whale over fire code and arm to arm, and it was so hot in there that you could barely. Gross. Yeah, we had fan. It was gross. It was a part of the charm.
Fun gross.
Yeah, yeah, and and then we went to a couple different venues, and then we went to Cornerstone, and Cornerstone was a really great place for it. It feels like that event.
Yeah,
and there were nights there that we were well over capacity as well.
But going back to the stand-up versus film. We had 2 this year. Hilarious. Steve Fedina and Barry Blanchard. They're absolutely funny. But there are also films that were just as funny.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to do a film that is funny and entertains people and makes them laugh and stuff like that takes a certain type of character.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can win the audience over and you make them feel that they've been entertained, in my view, it doesn't matter whether it's a stand-up comedian or whether it's a film. They both do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference that you get there is the interaction with the audience. where the stand-up person will be able to voice things back to the audience if they're thrown something. And that is special. You don't get that with a film, and so that's why I think Wade is saying, is totally true for audience participation. Stand-up is better. But at the same time, if you can't get those people, you have to figure out how do you entertain your audience. And that now seems to be more film.
Stephen was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy that presented the Golden Crowbar. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. That was very cool. Yeah, I was really impressed with just, again, how good he was.
Oh, yeah, he's a comic.
Oh, he's an actual comic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. That makes total sense.
Well, no, he's not. He's not. No, he's not, definitely. But
I think so.
He's a funny guy. He does
theater and all that sort of stuff.
And he has done some theater, and I used to do improv with him, but I wouldn't call him a comic.
Well, I would. He makes me laugh.
He definitely makes me laugh.
Yeah, he was
no, he's a comic.
He was good, yeah.
Okay, fine, he's a comic.
I didn't know if he was good. I didn't know if he was, just at the beginning, I was like, is this another presentation? And then obviously I kind of realized that it was the Golden Route so is that award specifically for route finding, or did that person who won it just happen to be a route finder?
Route builder.
Route builder, sorry. Yeah. Route finder.
No, that was, so TAVVAR, basically, they help people who want to put routes up on the mountain, sport climbing. They provide, all the hardware that you need and stuff like that. And it's a nonprofit. It's funded, it's a nonprofit organization. And this year they wanted to give an award. I don't know if they do it for every year, but I know for sure this year. And it was just basically who, in my knowledge bank, I think, is about who made the most routes or the most fun route, or I don't remember exactly what for. But I mean, we have thousands and thousands of climbs here in the Bow Valley that people from all over the world come, Alex Magos climbed this 515B, one of the hardest climbs available. Bolts were put up there. And so TAVVAR is there to support that. So yeah, it's they need more money because there's more and more climbs that are being put up. And I mean, it's great. Grant Parkins, he puts up these 5.7s, 5.8s, 5.9s, so I can climb them. Yeah. If he didn't do that, there's like all the other hard stuff I can't climb.
And are these guys, so I'm not too versed in the whole climbing sphere. Are they in any way funded? Is that what you were talking about with that tab thing?
By TAVVAR.
Right, cool. So do they put up a route and then they kind of put in expenses? Is that kind of how it works?
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah. They'll say, I have this idea. They approach TAVVAR. TAVVAR says, yeah, go for it, And I mean, if they say no, they might put it up anyways. But
yeah, and just eat the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite cool. And so has it always been, was that a new element to it? Or has it always had an award? I know there was a presentation award, but...
We always, I don't know if you've talked about them in the past, but we did mention them. We used to mention them at the climbing festival that I was organizing because they, it's always good to help them out. But this was the first time Steve said, he had this idea. And so we said, yeah, let's do this. Let's move forward with it.
We always did audience participation for the voting of the thing. That was a key element of the Night of Lies. I don't think we ever handed out other organizations awards.
No.
No. And I wasn't, to be totally honest, I wasn't sure if you were taking the piss at that part of it or not. I had no idea because I'm that far out of the loop. But I think that's a cool piece for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's an important part of the climbing community. So
for sure, TAVVAR is. Absolutely.
I mean, but you got to be careful because I have been approached by other people and other organizations that wanted to jump on the bandwagon and have us promote them and stuff like that, and I've said no because it just doesn't fall into the same category, or not category, but it's not the Night of Lies. You have to be careful.
It was never about promotion or self-promotion. It was always kind of like the anti of that, right?
Yeah.
And so, over the years, there definitely were organizations that wanted to be the title sponsor or something like that. I'm like, you're not reading the room here, man. Like, seriously.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, that's what I felt like so I worked at the Banff Film Festival, just the company I'm at, and it is exactly what I think that is what you're alluding to there, where the Banff Film Festival is all sponsored. Literally the whole thing sponsored, like there's a business repping ourselves, there's RAB, there's whoever, everyone's giving away free stuff.
Yeah.
And whereas the Night of Lies, it was honestly like super refreshing to go there and be like this. And I said to you in an email when I sent it to you, it felt very authentically local, community based.
It is.
And that's what it is. But it was very, I think, and the Banff Film Festival is obviously amazing. I'm not saying that to shit on it.
No.
They're just two completely different ones. The kind of, the sponsored. I know you guys were sponsored, obviously, but it's the
differently though, right?
One.
Yeah.
And this one was like true local. I was honestly, it was very cool to go and feel that noticeably.
Well, it's not a business.
Yeah.
I think that's the Banff Film Festival is a business. Night of Lies is not a business. It's us putting our sweat and energy for nothing, so other people can be entertained.
There was a time where I thought about, could the Night of Lies go on the road? Could we do one in Boulder, Colorado? Could we do one in Chamonix? Those sorts of things. And, they've happened in Jasper, because, contingent up there. But, I thought about how to commercialize it more.
Yeah, grow it.
Yeah. And it would have been different, right? It might have been a thing. It might have been fine.
Oh, you totally could have made it a commercial.
I think it could have.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it didn't, right? And there was a point in time where the film festival and Night of Lies were talking about combining these things, and maybe that could have been a thing, and maybe it couldn't have been. I think they're two different things. I know that the film festival used to send their staff to see if they could find like the next speakers for their thing.
Oh wow!
We were like the farm team, for the festival,
the feeder program,
yeah, for sure. And they're just different, right? And I think we had to tread that line between commercialization and authenticity. It was a challenge sometimes, right? But I think holding on to that was one of the key things that just kept making that night special. And I'm really glad that Andy has kind of kept that piece of it, right? There's temptation all the time to commercialize those things more than maybe they should be.
Especially when people are actually reaching out to you and offering.
Yeah.
You're not even having to search for it. People are just like, hey, I'll give you this, I'll do that.
It's not so much that they give, they want to promote their stuff.
Okay.
They want something in return.
So that the Night of Lies to me is not about that. And one of the things that I'm going to, we have difference of opinion as to how we think the Night of Lies should be run. Not massively different, but I have my way and Wade has his way and stuff like that. And he's given me some great feedback, that he saw that this year I could have done differently, which I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, And so it's neat to have someone that's been running it for so long and doing it really well. You'd be dumb not to listen. Saying that, he's also carte blanche. Yeah. Do it however you want to do it, right? So, which is nice, because if it wasn't like that, I don't think we'd have a partnership that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you have to step back and you have to let things go.
Yeah.
And you have to let them be. And there was some, I think, small things that I would have just tweaked a little differently. I don't think there was anything huge that I was like, oh my God, don't do that.
No, but one of the interesting things that he did say to me was that any company that gives us something for the Night of Lies auction, I should be doing an individual social media post and attaching their website and stuff like that. And I thought that was brilliant because they are giving stuff for free, right? So we can help someone else. And if it just takes me to, do a post and stuff like that, it's not a lot of work. And the company would be thrilled to see that, rather than the way I was doing it, where it was a lump sum. These are all our sponsors and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I took away. I'm like, oh yeah, for next year I want to do that.
And I know there's a Facebook page. Is there a website and an Instagram page?
Well, don't even go there.
I'm gonna say why he said that, because we had this conversation about a week and a half ago. The website domain name ended. And so I told Wade, I said, you should know this. It's ended. He goes, well, just pay the $25 and resurrect it. I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, why? I said, well, because we never do anything with the website.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I thought you were going to say you lost it and it's now $1,000.
Yeah. Well, no, if somebody watching this is probably going to pick it up now, and now you're totally fucked.
Yeah.
But, I think, for that sponsors don't expect anything, but I think it's good faith, and I think it's in kind to promote them to a certain degree, right? Everybody equally, like there's no star sponsors, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And also, I think that it's a webpage gives you the ability to communicate to the people who don't know what Night of Lies is more about what it is. And what to expect a little bit. Because social media, algorithms only give you a certain amount of reach. I haven't looked at the stats on the Night of Lies page at all. But, the algorithms change things for people. Only certain people see them. You sold out the event, so I can't argue with that at all. But
2 years in a row.
Yeah, but I sold it out for 20 years in a row. So.
Well, this is what I'm saying, that it has been developed where people just know what the Night of Lies is about, right?
So minus this podcast, I actually don't have any social media. So I would be one of these people that would probably fall through the cracks because I found out about it because a friend, so maybe not, but I probably would use a web page, not to add to the argument here, but...
it's not an argument. For me, it's... this is not a business for me.
Yeah.
This is just something to give back. And so I got to be careful. Do I want to put that much energy into getting a website? Then you got to put stuff on the website. Then you got to do this. Then you got to do that. And for me, honestly, I don't have the time for that. Where I can do social media posts and stuff like that, and I can get the same return on a social media post than I probably would, way more so than I could with a website.
And I'll throw this out to you, is that I think this is where you have to leverage the community. And I get the limited time and bandwidth and energy. There's lots of people out there that would love to put up a website for you. And I think...
which is a possibility. Yeah.
I'm a guy that leverages social media a lot. And I understand why people aren't on social media and are going away from social media. And I think if you can do these things without social media, all the better.
Yeah.
But I'll pimp myself out. I'm not afraid to do that.
I guess,
I do that with my wildlife photography and my videos and stuff like that. And I have no qualms pimping myself out because welcome to the day and age. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
If you
especially
don't,
social media.
And that's the thing, like I'm 60 and I see the 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds and stuff like that. And they grab their phones and they do something and it's done within 20 seconds. I'm learning from them.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do.
For sure.
So... yeah. No, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can go around. But I like what you said that, there might be someone out there that would be interested in volunteering their time to do the website and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was always really humbled by the amount of community support that I got for things when I needed them. Right. Like, there was always people willing to step up and do those things. And, I totally get why you feel you don't need it. And I definitely can't argue with that. Yeah. But again, it's just about doing it differently. As long as the night at the end of the day is a fun evening that people remember and that felt, like, I don't want to say of value, but like of, to have folks like yourself reach out afterwards and say, that was something special that I haven't experienced anywhere else. That's the magic to hold on to. Everything else is kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you get to there.
When I got your email and I read it, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do a podcast about this? It was that interesting.
Yeah.
And you forget sometimes, that people actually go home and they're talking about it for weeks afterwards. And that you actually did something that helped with that, So yeah, no, it's a fun thing to do.
And I guess if you're wanting to, like you were chatting earlier about like taking it to like Colorado and all these places, and I guess if you're not doing that and you're keeping it within the community, then probably like a web page isn't crazy important, because ultimately it is people, not to say me specifically, but like people like me who come along. And I mean, next year I'm already like, when's the next one? And I've already seen the people. So, if it is staying like a local community, then if the night itself, like you were saying, is good, then the web page is whatever, because everyone who went this year is going to want to go next year.
Yeah.
And is it an annual thing? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Generally it's been in the
I actually had someone ask me, like, would you run one in 6 months' time?
Yeah.
Doing it twice a year. You know what? I would.
Would you?
I would. Yeah, I actually would.
Better get a website.
The hard thing is getting people. Is getting stuff for people to watch, whether, it's a slideshow, talk or a film.
Because it's
hard.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, it's not specifically seasonal. It's not like even though you've done it in the winter season, it's not a winter season thing.
No. We have been doing it, or I'm not sure what Wade, but the Cornerstone Theater, has been fantastic and
super generous.
Yeah, and like we have a good price, for the venue, and it's a great venue and stuff like that. If you go in the summertime, there's no way that you're going to find a place that will be that cheap.
Yeah, true.
There's like the other shoulder season. I think the other thing I'll say is it has turned into, I think it's always been known as a climbing event. And I always wanted it to be an adventure event. I didn't care if you were kayaking or hunting or whatever, as long as you could tell a good story. And a lot of those turned into be climbers because that's the community that we were super deep into. But some of the best shows over the years have not been climbing films. Yeah, for sure.
Paul Zitka.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. He was hilarious. He was all the peaks that I didn't make it to, scrambles.
Okay.
And it was just hilarious. Again, stand up with slides.
Yeah.
But the way he presented it, he won the evening. And if you're listening, Paul, I've been trying to get him back.
Oh, yeah?
Every year I ask him.
I think, I go back and I think about some of the special shows. And the vast majority of the evenings were not won by the stars. You're right. They have, Barry has won a couple of them, Will has won a couple of them, et cetera, et cetera. But by and large, it was some no-name dudette, whatever, that got up there and just gave a super real perspective on whatever they were doing. And that to me those were the golden moments, right? I remember Dominic Fredette, who, no offense, Dom, is one of the fucking worst climbers I've ever met.
I thought you were, but
no, I'm down there.
He doesn't climb anymore, so.
But great guy, and got up there and gave this like Star Wars rendition of climbing, and he was basically invading galaxies, and I was like Darth Vader, and all sorts of things, and he ended up having a lightsaber fight at the end of it. It was the most memorable show in 25 years of doing this, and just a regular dude. Still comes back and reminds me about how special it was, or it wasn't about star power. And I think that's why I also never told anybody who was up on stage. We always had Will and Barry and Sean and, whoever, Sonny, and there was always a portion of them that were there for it, and people loved that because Barry was sitting in the audience drinking a beer beside you, right? Like, and that was cool. But it wasn't the reason or the main point of getting a whole bunch of stars on stage.
Yeah.
In fact, we wanted the opposite, right? We wanted Andy getting up there. We wanted just people having fun in the mountains.
And you were saying it's not. So I guess I keep calling it a climbing thing. So apologies.
No,
because when the night I went, it wasn't exclusively about kind of predominantly like climbing stuff. But you're saying, Andy, the ethos of it is it's not just a climbing thing. It is.
Oh God, no.
Anything like could do kayaking, could do.
Oh yeah, I'd love people to come and do either stand up or.
Especially having had an ultra runner, they're like.
Yeah.
Just because
mountain biking or kayaking or even fishing or whatever. It doesn't matter.
I would take camping. And if you could get up there and give me a 10-minute presentation about a camping weekend you had that was hilarious or something,
yeah.
What do I care?
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? What we haven't talked about is like every single person that has done something, whether it's film or stand up, the amount of preparation and the work that goes into that is incredible. Mm-hmm. Is incredible. And doing it for nothing, and doing it to entertain other people and stuff like that. It's phenomenal that they say yes,
You hire Gad to put him on stage, and it's a check.
Oh, really?
Right?
Yeah.
And him and lots of others have donated their time to stand up there and just be part of something special. Yeah. And I've always really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
oh, yeah.
I know how much time and effort goes into to doing those things, and it's not insignificant. I think that's another hurdle for some people, right? They're like, but just another excuse.
Yeah, I always think that your time is the most valuable thing you have in life, because not to get too wishy-washy, it's the one thing that all of us, no matter who you are, how much money you have, like you can't get that back. So if someone's willing to give you, say they give you $1,000, like obviously appreciative of that, but that's quite a lot of money, so maybe that is a bad example. But if someone gives you their time, it is because they could do whatever they want.
100%.
Yes, and that's what Cody said, right? Mm-hmm. He's only here. I'm only here because Andy asked me to put a film together, And I remember having a discussion with him, and I said, Cody, because he's a filmmaker, I'm like, and I know he's funny. I'm like, you got to do a film for the Night of Lies, and he's like, I don't know. I said, look, it doesn't pay anything, and you're gonna have to put a lot of time into it, and so on. But I said, but it's going to be great for your career.
Exposure, the old exposure trap.
And when I said that, he looked at me and goes, yeah, whatever, But
you never do know, right? Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is I bring it back to myself. Mm-hmm. When I did Blair to the Stars, it got me a career that I never expected I would have. And I made a film with Ivan Hughes about Barry Blanchard called Spindrift, and it's gone around the world, and we won all sorts of awards, and that was just because of the Night of Lies. So there is that opportunity if people are in the film industry or whatever it is, that you get that little bit of exposure, and then it triggers something else. And before you know it, you look back 5 years or whatever it is, and you're like, holy moly, that's where it started. You
never know what comes.
Yeah.
And see, to take that as well, do you think, listen, Andy, they're talking about how you just made a film with Barry Blanchard and it's got awards around the world. Yeah. Do you, how you get the butterfly effect, and you never know about how small a decision you decide to make at one point in time, reverberates into the future, whatever the word is. It must be kind of mad for you listening to that and then being thinking way back when you were literally getting your camera out with your mates and being I never would have thought that this would have an effect on people like Andy and being able to do a career.
Yeah.
It sounds like, yeah. Not to give you a big head.
Yeah, no, it was it was absolutely never the point of it.
Yeah.
Right? We weren't there to give so-and-so exposure. But those butterfly effects are profound over time, right? And you just never know where things will lead or why they lead there. You know, I never thought I'd be a politician. Really didn't. That was not on my radar of things to happen in my life. But I will say that Night of Lies was probably a foundational component of me being able to become one.
Oh shit!
I know, right? We can blame all of this on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to become a politician.
I hope you don't. Careful what you wish for. Yeah, you never know where those things will lead. You never know. Like this podcast, I have no idea the impacts it may or may not have on anything. And you just got to let that go and kind of see what happens sometimes. I saw somebody the other day who said, grab the mic. And she was asked to do something that she had no qualifications to do. She had no reason to be there, right? That kind of imposter syndrome kind of thing. And that moment was a turning point in her life that, you know, now she became this, and that. You can plan things. You can focus and set goals. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that stuff. And then sometimes you just got to take some chances and see what happens. With actually zero intention of anything happening. When you do that, those things have profound effects on people's lives. And I have no right whatsoever to have started the Night of Lies. I have no I have a computer science degree. I don't have project management skills. I don't have public relations skills. I have none of the qualifications that would say, go start an event like that. And when I see people being audacious and just going to do those things, do that. Be audacious, be unapologetic, and go do the things that you're not qualified to do. That nobody's going to give you permission to do it. Just go do it.
So I think you should do something next year.
At the
Night of Lies.
At the Night of Lies, yeah. I mean, do a podcast, do a little on-stage podcast, maybe.
You know?
Because I'm not as much. It's funny how there's so many different like areas of like media. You know, like what I was saying, I can't remember if it was on this or just before we started this. I was chatting about how, like, I'm super comfortable. I obviously get nervous just because, you know, it is a thing I have a passion about.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable with this, like sitting down with one or two or three people having a conversation, but doing what you did and you did in the past and what Bex and Nikki do now, or Stephen or whoever it was that went up on the stage, like, it's a totally different kind of media. Not media, or entertainment, I guess.
Totally.
You
well,
know?
I totally see you sitting down there on a chair, in a chair, I should say, with two other people that you're interviewing.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And having some sort of a dialogue.
Yeah.
That would entertain people.
Oh, I'm not,
on whatever subject it is.
But you know, coming back to, you know, why people want to do films these days, and I think it's because we've lost this interaction. You know, keyboards, COVID, social media has taken away the ability for people to be in front of other people, and their actual in-person social skills have taken a hit, and we need to get that back. You know, we need to go back to that in-person style, and you know, I think
it's an art. No, I'm not saying me specifically, but to your point, like, I think exactly what you're saying there, being able to chat to people, and I think the social interaction, the more I do this and realize how, you know, I was saying to Andy before we started, like, you watch yourself or listen to yourself back enough times and you're like, oh my God, did I do that? Did I say that? You don't realize you have these weird mannerisms. And now when I listen to, say, like you guys on stage or a podcast that I like or whoever, it makes me so much more appreciative of how good they are at the thing that they do. Because before I did this podcast, I was like, oh, sit down, record a conversation, it's easy. And then you try to do the thing and you're like, oh no, there's a true skill to, you know, to that. And yeah, to your point, like, I think films are maybe even though they can be amazing and have incredible value, they can be like a bit of an easier way to communicate.
Sure.
Like this is a bit of a tangent maybe, but my sister works in the theatre in London, and I was chatting to her and I was like, I guess the people who like do all the dancing and singing and stuff like that, they must be like incredibly extroverted. And she was like, usually they're not. Usually it's the opposite. Usually they're the quiet people, but when they're doing the thing, it's their way of interacting with people because they're actually like really quite shy and nervous.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that.
No, I'm actually an introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like psychologically diagnosed me. I'm an introvert.
That's what it says.
And
we're here to.
Yeah. We'll pay you later.
Yeah.
and those moments that I have to do it, one, I'm still nervous, right? Every time as a politician, I have to hit the mic and stand in front of it, I'm still nervous. And truth be told, I really don't like people that much. It's a weird thing. So I go home and I just hibernate and recharge. And then I can come out and do these things again. But these are learned skills, right? Like, again, you kind of start somewhere and you know, maybe you're dancing in your living room and then you dance in front of 5 people and then next thing you know, you're dancing on Broadway and just doing.
Yeah, I heard this. I'm going to butcher it, but Shia LaBeouf, that actor, he said something that like antisocial people sometimes aren't actually antisocial. They're just people who are just fed up with bullshit. Like they're just fed up with dealing with like, you know, the madness of the world. It's not that they're actually antisocial. They just value their own peace and contentment, and they just don't need the madness of the world that's kind of kicking on around them.
I have found for myself, social media has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm introverted. You know, I don't like really going to parties and stuff like that. But when I go, I have a fun time. But to go there, it's so hard for me to do that. And one of the things I love about social media is that I'm meeting people from around the world, and I'm having conversations with them and stuff like that.
Sure.
And where if I wasn't online, I wouldn't have that. And yeah, so I think it's great. I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing. Like it's changed my voice completely, you know, but that's another podcast. You know, I have no qualms with people on their phones and communicating and stuff like that. It's a completely different way nowadays to when I grew up, how we communicated and so on. And I get that, but it's just a different way. I still think you communicate.
100%.
You know, and that's why it goes back to, for me, and maybe because I'm a bit biased because I'm a filmmaker, you know, it's, and also I do marketing a bit. And if you want to attract a person, you got 3 seconds to keep their attention before they swipe and go somewhere else. And I kind of look at these short films, the Night of Lies, something very similar, because there is a 4.5 minute one, a 6 minute one, and a 6.5 minute one.
And then how long was Barry's?
I was literally just
Barry almost got pulled. Actually, what happened about that? So I'm sitting there, you know, and
like a gym moment.
And he's going on about his dick, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, you know, this is great. That's Bubba, you know, like, you know, he loves entertaining. And I told him, I said, anywhere between 10, 15 minutes, because this is something that Wade always said, you know, right at the beginning. He's like, no more than 10, 15 minutes, that's it. And so I kept to the same structure. And so the girls, Nikki and Bex, they kind of looked at me, you know, at one point. And I just kind of waved to them. I was like, just let him go, you know, because they didn't know what to do, because it's Barry, first of all. Yeah. Like, do you go and pull him off
Barry
stage?
Stay off stage? Could you imagine?
Right? You know, and this has happened in the Night of Lies.
Yeah, there was. I had to say a similar moment way back when.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you pulled them off stage?
No, we didn't.
You thought,
yeah, we tried. It tried. We actually did pull one. Yes. Yeah, there was one.
We got a hooker.
Yeah.
The year after that, because it was so
Do you mean a hooker as in?
No, not.
Oh. We got
a hook.
We got Margot. We got Margot to actually get a cane. Margot the hooker.
Yeah.
To get a cane, and if people got out of control, she just went up there and yanked them off. Because, like how do you handle those moments? Right, we've got a legend up there. And
it's funny because when you set this up, you have a time frame. And you try and stay within that time frame, because you have to be out at a certain time and stuff like that. But this stuff will happen, that someone will come on stage, and it's only with the person doing stand-up, because with a video, it's exactly how long it is. And I remember both girls they looked at me, and I just said, no, just let him go. And I don't know, Barry realized that at one point we made eye contact, and I gave a specific look, and then he started talking a little faster, and then eventually he finished. But
it was still good. Like,
exactly. To me, I was just like, does it really matter that he's going longer? Because everybody is being entertained.
Yeah.
And that's what they're here for. Mm-hmm. So let it go.
I would almost say the comedy of Barry was the fact that it kept going. Not time, but like it was like I was like, okay, and then it was the next injury, and then it was kind of comical that it was like it kept going.
So,
yeah. If you'd pulled it, I probably wouldn't have maybe I appreciated that. I'd be like, oh, you had a couple injuries, but when it's this one and that one and that one, you're like,
no. I knew in the timeline where we were, and I was like, man, he's still got to get through like 3 more of these.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you have obviously you were saying it's more like organized chaos, but you do have obviously you were saying the videos are easy because it's literally a 6-minute video, but do you have the intermission and stuff like that? Is it quite, you still have a structure, I guess is what I'm saying, to it isn't literally just like this goes until whatever time you finish. Because I guess you'd get in the building for a certain time. You have to
we have to be out of there by 11 o'clock on this one. And so what I did was I estimated that we were done at 10:30. Because I knew things would change, and it actually went really smooth. And we've tried different things, like we've had entertainment during halftime last year, and it was okay. But a lot of people would rather intermingle with each other at that point. So this year we decided, I decided to drop that part, and let people mingle with each other during intermission. And I don't think anybody noticed or missed it, that there was an entertainment during halftime,
I'm assuming you might be one of these people, but have you had people who have been there since, and you as well, since the first iteration it's been?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Like every 22, 5 years now, must be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can think of people that have been there since the day one.
Yeah.
I saw them at this year's, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. Maybe they haven't been to all of them, but they've been to a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had a dream once. One of the things about selling tickets for this thing is you launch it, you sell a whole bunch of tickets, and then it goes like radio silent.
Yeah.
And you get this nervousness that you're not going to sell. And at the last three days or so, you sell the rest of the tickets. Happens like clockwork every time. I've told Andy this a million times. But one year I had a dream that we had hired Kiss to come play, and the room was empty.
So I had a friend back home in Scotland who, it was like her UK rap artist, and in Scotland that's a very niche. It wasn't a Scottish rapper, but it's a very niche thing. So anyway, my friend started a Scottish rap company, and he'd get these English guys who are bigger down there to come up. And anyway, he put it on, and it was one of the first things, but it was quite a big artist. You guys would know him, but in the UK, this guy's quite big. And that exact thing happened. Like, it was literally us. And by us, I mean maybe a dozen of us as in his mates. And then, like, I swear to God, a handful of other people who had heard.
Wow,
And it was a hall. It was like, it was kind of different dimensions, but imagine like where you were at, except that it was like maybe 15 people there. And the guy did the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
right?
It was very cool.
Can you imagine being that one, those few people in the audience?
Yeah. And the guy, I then go back to, but obviously my mate, because it was his thing, they all went back to like an after party or whatever. And he said that the artist who, like, been on TV, like he's a legit UK artist, said he was amazing. Totally brand new, did the whole gig. I mean, he's getting paid at the end of the day, but the whole gig wasn't put off by it. But yeah, that did happen to him, and
Well, going back to the ticket stuff, Wade did tell me that that's what he's seen in the past and stuff like that, and so I listened to him. And this year, the tickets, I think we're about around 150 tickets, and we have 220 altogether. And it went really well at the beginning, and then it plateaued, and then it was plateauing, and I was just like, oh wow, we need more people here. And I'm like, I'm going to drop the list of who's going to be there, who's going to be entertaining. And then the tickets went and they sold again. But I think you're 100% right, is that people last minute, that's when they jump back into the bandwagon and go, oh, let's go. I forgot about this and stuff like that. So next year there won't be, we won't be telling who's going on stage, except for myself. I might put another film in, which I do almost every year. So.
Yeah, I think it was,
and I think you might too now.
Well, I'm getting talked into it. Yeah, I guess with because it didn't feel like, so it sounds like there may have been like another 70 tickets. Like it did not feel like they could have got another. It felt full. Like from a
no, it was full.
There was obviously like
stand-up.
Little 2 chairs here, 2 chairs there, but I definitely did not feel. I was actually standing behind you most of it, and then I finally got a chair and sat down.
Yeah, no, we sold out. It always sells out, and that's the thing that you have to just remember.
Oh, it did sell out. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I used to be pretty liberal in the number of people I would put in that room, and it was a bit different. There was standing room only, and people were jammed up, and there are definitely some downsides to that, but a full room always has a different vibe than a 3/4 full room.
Yeah. I was going to even say the booing and the cheering was also quite. It's quite funny as well, because my girlfriend drove, so she obviously was sober, but she also had a bit of a sore stomach. So I literally had 2 beers because I didn't want to get too lady, because she wasn't really feeling up for it. So what I'm getting at is I still had a little bit of like sober inhibition. Is that the right word?
Sure.
Because when everyone was booing and cheering, I was almost kind of waiting to see what the crowd would do, and it was almost like as soon as you heard a couple of boos, then everyone's booing. And as soon as you heard like someone would cheer, and then everyone, I felt like it was kind of, if it maybe I'd been a bit drunk, I would probably been a bit louder, but I thought that was really cool. Like the whole.
Yeah, well, this year with Nikki and Bex, they came up with the idea of asking questions, or two lies and a truth.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that was a brilliant idea and stuff like that. And we were just talking about this later on. And I was just like, okay, next year we need to have more dialogue with the audience, because I saw that happening, and I was just like, oh wow, the people are loving this. And so I'm just
those
like,
are always moments,
yeah. And so as a person always trying to think of how to make things better, how to make people enjoy it more, and that and so on, I was just like, okay, yeah, next year maybe we need to tie that in a little bit tighter, and see what they can do with the audience, and so give them a lot more leeway to talk to the audience.
Here's a question for you. Does the audience, we were talking about speaker anxiety earlier, does the audience feel like one person to you when you're up there?
No.
It always felt like a single entity to me, and I think that's how I coped with it, actually.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So there's one person instead of 220?
Yeah.
It was one entity instead of 220 different people.
Yeah.
And it was just me and the crowd.
Yeah.
As opposed to me and I don't know how many people were out there.
That's
the feeling I always got.
No, when I go up there, I'm like, why does everyone want to listen to me? I guess that's some sort of anxiety or whatever. But, what I'm saying is, are people actually, do they really care what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I get a little bit nervous going, oh, fuck, but it does switch. It's kind of like, I guess I was saying earlier, when I go to a party, I don't really want to go to the party, but when I go there, I'm okay.
I'm the exact same, yeah.
And so when I first get up on stage, I'm like you said earlier, when everyone was silent, when I was talking about the stent, I was like, oh, this is bad. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, everyone is listening to every single word I'm saying. I'm like, oh, fuck, what do I say next? And I kind of forgot where I was, and thank God Bex was there because she's always carried me.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, I think it's, I think including the audience would be something that we're going to try and do more.
Yeah, social, like the interaction, yeah.
We used to throw out a lot of swag, like a lot of swag.
Yeah.
And one year I hit
Barry?
No.
With the drugs?
Yeah, there was the drugs here too.
Let me interrupt. No. I'll tell that story.
Yeah.
So Wade's on stage and he has a bag of weed, like a massive bag of weed worth a shit ton, and he like flings it out to the audience and lands in Barry's hands. And Barry looks at it, he goes, what do I want with
Barry
this?
doesn't smoke pot at all.
So he flicks it off and everyone's like, what?
So. The bottle of scotch he was totally into. Weed he was not. But what's Mike Barter's real name?
Oh,
Joe McKay.
Yeah.
I hit Joe McKay. I think it was Joe McKay. Anyways, I hit somebody with like a carabiner and like made him bleed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Quite a violent show.
Yeah.
And we actually had a conversation about not that story, but we had a bunch of little plastic carabiners that we were. Yeah,
I got one. Yeah,
and I said to Nikki and Bex, I'm like, don't throw this out in the audience. I tend to be a little bit more on the safe side because I don't want someone to be injured.
That's the day and age we're in.
So I was like, don't throw them out. I said, you just pass them along to other people and stuff like that.
She did, yeah. Nikki came, she had a massive bag. And she was, not throwing them, but
handing them out and stuff like that. But yeah, that was I think that's one of the things that's also changed with the Night of Lies. When Wade started this, it was heyday. It was just whatever.
It was drunken chaos. It really was. Like the alcohol consumption was
way more.
5 times what we saw the other night. At least 5. Like we made the most money off alcohol sales. Let's put it that way. And which was good to a certain degree, right? When we get older, we get a little more risk adverse.
Yeah, I actually didn't know if it was going to go in that direction because I'd never been. I was like, I wonder if this would be quite, because Cass, my girlfriend, didn't want to drink. I was like, well, I don't know if you should come because I don't know if it was going to be like quite a rowdy thing.
Yeah,
but it was good. It was a perfect combination.
Yeah. It's always changing.
Yeah,
who knows what's going to happen next year.
And so I was going to ask, how far in advance do you plan? Is it like as soon as it finishes, you're immediately thinking, or?
Well, I mean, I guess for the Cornerstone, it's not guaranteed right now, but they know that we're coming back. So usually it's about 6 months in advance. I give them a call, and say, okay, we're going to be doing it. And we look at the dates and then we pick a date. As for trying to get people to, produce something, it starts right afterwards, like right now. Me trying to get you on board.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people like that night. There's a young woman that came up to me, Carol, and she was really enjoying it and stuff like that. And I said, you gotta do something next year. And she's like, oh, I've been thinking about it. I said, no, don't think about it. Do it. And I want to get more women up there. It's so hard. I
think there was only 1 year I went 50-50.
Yeah, I think we had 50-50 last year.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. And this year we had none. And that is the hardest thing, is to try and get people to commit.
Even though this is way, 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 way smaller, I definitely feel that as well. Like I've had it with just this last week with you guys. Like I emailed you, and then maybe like a day later, you're like, "Cool, let's do it." We had it arranged, and then I've got someone else, and it's it kind of drags on, and then they don't want to do it, and then you probably get the same. I'm like, see, if it's not your thing, honestly, just say no. But it's kind of like you're like, well, are they going to do it? So yeah, it's kind of,
like I two of the films I got 2 days before the event.
Oh, did you?
And I'm like, oh, Jesus, like, because, and other people, they said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Great. Awesome. And then you hear, I just don't have the time.
I'm going to Skaha for the weekend.
You can't get mad at them because it takes a lot of time to do it. Right. And so you're just like, so that is the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Organizing the event and getting the sponsors to donate and stuff like that, that's not an issue. It's just trying to get people on stage.
And with regards to the back room, so is it you and Bex, and then like maybe have you got a little bit of involvement, or is it like a core team of you that are just like planning?
No, it's me and my wife, Kat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Me and my wife, Kat, basically do the whole thing. Then Bex and Nikki are on board as MCs now.
Okay, yeah.
And so this year they did quite a lot of planning, as to how to do things.
Yeah, you could tell that they had given it some more thought.
It was way better. When Bex and I were doing it, Bex would want to sit down and have, a meeting and stuff like that. No, we'll just wing it. And so we just went on stage.
And I always wung it. Like, there was a little bit of structure, but I had no planned speeches.
But seeing the structure this year with those two, I was like, oh, wow, that brought this to another level, with the audience. And then there's volunteers, about 4 or 5 people that are helping out every year and stuff like that, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But if I do the calculation in my head, there's maybe about 7 people.
Damn, it's not a lot.
That do it. Yeah, that help out. And
I was like, you were saying about I think it's quite a fine balance between structure and winging it. You kind of want, because I think if you try and structure it too much, and I mean, I guess if it's like a public thing, you might be memorizing like a speech. You can tell. Like, I'm not really like in the moment, like chatting, like we are even just now. Like I'm trying to I should say this thing that I memorized to say. But then also I think I just maybe speaking for myself here, I do like having prepared a little bit, because I feel like I'm better at winging it, because I've kind of already got stuff in the back of my mind that I can jump to.
Absolutely.
There's being prepared, right? Doing, having an idea, having, some concept of where you want to go. And then there's like the other end of that spectrum, which is like memorizing a speech to get on stage to give it for word. And for me personally, I've never been good at that. I've never been able to memorize a speech, and I've always been really good at impromptu and winging it. There's a fine line between those sometimes. Winging it can derail quickly if you can't handle those moments, for sure. But you could tell that the ladies had put some thought into it beforehand, or at least I could, because I knew how that structure set up.
Sorry, I was going to say, I also find that. So I mean, so I wrote 4 pages of notes before this.
Oh baby!
Just because, but because of this whole idea, because I was like, it also calms me down.
Yeah.
So I literally, I mean, I won't bore you with it, but I literally was like, I was like, I'm going to go early, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And because not that I even it actually didn't really pan out that way. Like, you turned up early, we were going to do it over there, we moved here. So, but I find that because I come into the thing with more, like, I feel calmer, because I know what's going to happen. Obviously it's going to change. So therefore, like, when you're winging it, I feel more relaxed, I'm more calm, I'm more able to wing it, because I'm not so, what's about to happen now, and so it's that kind of, again, that balance of like having just like the calmness and the structure, because you've practiced it to a degree, and then that also allows you the calmness, I guess, to wing it. Imagine being a politician, like winging it is.
Yeah, there are moments, there are lots of moments where I have to wing it, right? Like that's just the nature of it. And there are moments that I definitely have prepared speeches for. And the prepared speeches are actually harder for me, because I like that impromptuness and that whatever's happening in the moment. But there are moments that you can't wing it, that are important, that you can't forget to say something or just go with the moment. But those speeches actually give me way more nerves, make me more nervous than the other end of that spectrum.
And I guess like with Bex and you and whoever's MC'd over the years, like you need to be able to wing it. Because if you weren't able to wing it and you're on that stage and someone's shouting something at you, or Barry's talking too long, I would assume that it's just going to totally throw you, and you're not going to, I mean, maybe I'm speaking for me, like I wouldn't have the, I mean, I think I actually would, but it would be a lot more nervous to come up on the spot with something.
I think you would be just fine, my friend.
Well, it actually happened this year at the Night of Lies, when Calder was going to have his film shown. The girls didn't call him up. You know, and so the film started playing and stuff like that. And I went to them and I'm like, I think you guys forgot to call Calder up. And they're like, oh my God. But, you know, afterwards, how they just picked up on that and just, you know, brought him up and stuff like that. It just, you know, most people probably didn't notice, you know, because of what you're saying, they were prepared, you know, but not to the degree where it was manufactured, you know, perfectly and stuff like that. There's still that human element to like, you know, like, oh yeah, we fucked up. So.
Yeah, even like what you were saying in the beginning with your stent, and I honestly believed that. You know, I was like, I was so infuriated. I was just like, oh, I think I feel like we've actually just stepped into something that's quite morbid here. Not morbid, sorry, that's not the right word, but
I know what you mean. Yeah. And well, that's what we were hoping for. Yeah. Right? Because it is the Night of Lies. And so
you should believe nothing from what happened on that stage that night.
All of the lies that got told, some of them I'm like, I don't actually, I think, you know, some were truth and some were lies. I'm pretty sure they were all lies.
When Barry was saying that his Johnson worked again, I wanted to yell out, lies. But I just can't, you know,
I know. Well, when they said about his 144 IQ, I said, not anymore, you know, because of his head injury.
It's funny as well, like having, I mean, I don't know Barry anywhere like you guys do, but it's also funny just knowing, I know his persona. I know of him as a figure within the community.
Yeah, for sure.
But then also seeing, I had no idea that when he was talking, it was him, because his personality was just so different to what I would, you know, I wouldn't have thought that the guy that I've read on Wikipedia would be showing me an x-ray of his dick. You know, it was kind of, yeah, it was really cool, honestly.
And then you get to know Barry.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't seem like he's got a lot of, secrets.
I think that's also like one of the beauties of that night is everybody who gets up there is just Joe Nobody. And that they are who they are. And there's no filter for that persona anymore. And I've really appreciated that over the years, like getting to know how those people are in real life when you walk down the street and see them at the coffee shop, how they are on a mountain and how they are up on that stage, should all be congruent, and they are, you know, for those people. And I like that. And there's not that mythology anymore. Like, well, you know, like, am I explaining this well?
No, you are. Because when I was a fanboy of Barry's, you know, like Barry Blanchard,
the alpinist, right?
I know.
Who is not
and I remember getting here, you know, from Montreal, and I got into the climbing world and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my God, you know, like, and I was with my girlfriend one day, and I said to her, I'm like, how can I meet Barry Blanchard? You know, and so we had just started the Bow Valley SPCA in town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I started doing some shows because I was like, how can I make money for the SPCA? And I thought, well, I could put together a show, and we'll get money from tickets and stuff like that, and we'll sell products and so on, and then we can donate that to the SPCA. But I was just like, this is great. I can meet Barry. And so I actually wrote him a letter. And
like
dropped
a handwritten letter?
Yeah, handwritten letter.
Wow.
And I dropped it off at his house, you know, and so then he replied to me, and I remember going to his house, you know, and he's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And I put my hand out to shake his hand, you know, like, oh my God, I'm going to shake Barry Blanchard's hand here, you know, but he was sick as a dog. And he's like, and he goes, you don't want to come close to me. I'm so sick, you know, and I'm thinking, I don't care, you know,
please get me sick,
you know. And so anyways, he ended up doing a slideshow for us and stuff like that. And it started a friendship. And then I, you know, as I got to know him more and more, I just realized he's just a regular person, like everybody else, and I started seeing that, and then I got to meet these other people who are famous and so on, and they're just a regular person, and the fan ideology disappeared, and you realize they're just as fucked up as you are, and they're nice and they're assholes, and they're everything in between.
All of that, yeah.
So it's even that, to have the famous people, as I call them, come on stage, that other people in the audience get to see that, and get to see a little glimpse of something that they normally wouldn't because of what you read in the newspapers and stuff like that. It's raw, and Barry totally proved that night.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the picture. I'm like, oh, Barry.
And again, I didn't actually realize who he was. If I'm being completely honest, I thought it was just a random old guy.
Yeah. He is.
I know he is. But I was just
sorry, Barry.
Yeah. And again, which is all, just because he's famous doesn't make it any more special that I saw it. Yeah. But, I was like, wow, okay, well, this guy's keen to share. But
that's the Bow Valley, though.
And I think that's awesome. Yeah. Right? I think that it strips away that
mystique.
The mystique, yeah, in a good way,
yeah,
right. It just makes them real, and it makes them just like the guy sitting next to you, and it says, I can go out there and I can have fun too, and
belay to the stars.
Yeah, and next thing you know, so yeah, living in the Bow Valley, it's normal.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's a normal piece. And it was kind of hard to get used to at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like it.
Maybe as you get older, I don't know. I'm not going to say impressed. You just realize that everybody's just a person.
Mm-hmm. We all shit the same.
Yeah. Yes, they might have done some amazing things because we have Olympic gold athletes living here and stuff like that. And we have, so many people that are just doing such epic things.
The talent here is ridiculous.
But, it's just, right? They're just regular people.
Yeah, I felt, I'm not from Glasgow, but it's the closest city to me. So if I was hanging out with my mates in Glasgow and I've done whatever, I've run a marathon and blah, blah, blah. If you said at the weekend to someone like, I'm running like 10K, they'd be like, 10K? Wow. Like, it's quite a big deal. I feel like I live in Banff, but in this area, if you're not doing something absolutely mental at the weekend, like climbing, like an ice climb or running an ultra marathon, it's almost like you're not, it's like, what are you doing? The level of people out here seems to be so high.
Yeah,
it is, and it's also a problem.
You have to be careful about that.
Yeah, it can be a problem.
Well, like Jason,
a lot of people are intimidated by that.
Yeah,
okay.
The if I didn't climb 3 mountains and paddle a river and bike to Banff in the afternoon, I'm a nobody.
Yeah,
and that's so far from the truth. I think that that comparison thing can be super dangerous, and I think a lot of people fall into that trap, and it's a real slippery slope. You belong here whether you can ice solo water ice 6 or you're running a wheelchair down the middle of the road. Careful with those comparisons.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of here for a different reason. You don't have to be
and there's a lot of talent here, and there's a lot of skill, and there's a lot of high achieving people, and I think that's one of the things that makes this place cool. But be super careful with those putting people on pedestals.
Yeah,
because they all shit the same. They're all fucked up. They all have their problems. Their family life is just as screwed up as yours is. They struggle with anxiety. They struggle with depression. They struggle with body image. All of that stuff. As high achieving as those people are, they still do battle with those things. And when I see people leave because they don't feel like they can compete at that level, that's a recipe for disaster for the rest of your life, let alone here.
Yeah. He's also, in a positive way, it can be very humbling because
for sure.
You realize that yeah, if you take it in a positive context, like I've done certain things that would, if I say it to someone else, they may be like, oh, that's amazing. But, you live in an area where someone might have done something way better. And that's not to take away from what I've done, but it's also to be like, you're not the bee's knees, like what you've done is cool and don't take away from that. But, there's numerous levels and it can be quite, if in a positive context, it can be quite motivating.
100%.
And again, you have to be careful that you don't chase it and get in trouble, I guess. But, yeah, it's quite cool to be surrounded by people, and it definitely gives me like a motivation to try more. Like I got a friend we went to EP, not you and I, sorry, but I had a friend that went to EP with, and he said this to me. He was like, if you go in EP, if you've been, or even if you just look down it, there's like the left side and the right side. If you're looking at it, and like down the left side, I think that's where, I don't go a ton, but I assume that's where like the kind of harder climbs are. My friend was down there and he was like, came over to me and my girlfriend are climbing like a 5'8", and he's like, oh, you should come down here, this one that you'll really like. And see, as soon as he said that, I was like, I'm going to absolutely hate this. Just because I was like, there's no way that I'm going to, but having people, and what I'm getting at is he is a far better climber than me. I'm not really a climber, I climb, but I'm like a little like now and again, but it's cool to have those people who are there to push you.
Yeah, they can show you what's possible sometimes, and they can inspire and they can motivate for sure. They can show you things you never even dreamed of. And that's super cool. And there's a trap to the comparing what you've achieved to somebody else, and stay as far away from that as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I've always said that everyone has their 515.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the number is. Like if you're doing 5'8", and that's the hardest that you can do, that's your 515. And that is just as incredible as someone doing a 515, because, like for instance, Tim Emmett just did one of his hardest climbs recently. Cordar, I forget the name right now, but he trained for it for 3 years. No alcohol, stuff like that, for 3 years.
For that climb?
For that climb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, having to get to that level, you got to work so much harder. But even if you're doing a 5'8", and that is still your 515.
Yeah.
It's just a number, and how much energy and time you want to put into it, and skill. But
I think, the Bow Valley is a special place.
Oh yeah.
And, to people that don't live here, it seems mythical and seems, that people are doing things that they just can't do. Right. And, I climbed a mountain today, and, 99% of people in the city would think that was just a lifetime achievement. And that's an afternoon here.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, recognize that special feature. And don't get caught up in the comparisons of one achievement over the other. So.
But to bring it back to Night of Lies,
kind of preachy.
We need you next year.
Well, yeah, I would do it. Yeah, definitely. And look, I appreciate you guys. I would honestly do it. I'd be happy to do it. I appreciate you sitting down with me, because I know we probably have hit a couple hours now, and just chatting about it. Because and I thank you for the Night of Lies, because it was very cool. Very cool to go see. Very, as I say, like it was just very authentic, and yeah, I appreciate you guys doing it, and I appreciate you sitting with me for tonight and chatting for so long.
Oh, dude, did you actually call us and ask us to have a podcast with you? Awesome.
Yeah, no.
Awesome.
And I
actually had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect.
I know. It's funny as well, because this is the first time I've used this, and it's actually, so they're setting up for a birthday party. Did I tell you that? No.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No.
So this isn't, I was saying to Andy, I was like, I haven't
tell now that I look around.
I haven't invited you to like a weird, elaborate birthday party for me. But
dude, there's flowers on the front here for us.
Yeah. I know.
Sparkly water.
I know. Imagine
it's amazing.
It's got my name on it, I think.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
But yeah, and I mean it sincerely. Like that night was super cool. Like it genuinely was, and I think that's really cool how, not to just regurgitate it again, but to have an idea when you're like whatever age you were, and now like it has snowballed.
I'm older.
Yeah, and that's the only change. No, and then it's it's snowballed into this thing. I think it's very cool.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. These things are cool. You never know where they lead. Yeah. And happy to sit down with you and spend an evening on a cold winter night.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And thanks for taking over.
You're welcome.
I do really appreciate it.
Yeah, you said that. Thank you.
And all the success in the future, and keep doing what you're doing. And I'll give you a shit when I think you've totally gone.
That wouldn't be you.
But.
Yeah.